ever looked at a Python code? Like really, have you ever looked at a Python code deeper? For example, take a look at this one. We have an integer which is 10, we are just summing over a bunch of lists and we are opening a file. Doesn't make any sense. You can see there is open, sum and integer. And if you look at the code, we haven't really imported it from anywhere. Where is this coming from? How does Python load it into this file so that we are using it? We cannot randomly make up a function and use it in Python, right? Unless we define it. But what about these functions? This is a function, sum is a function, integer is an object. To know what's happening at the Python level, we have to go through this concept called namespaces. And that's exactly what this video is about. Let's jump right in. Some of the basic Python functions are loaded from this module called builtins. So let's print builtins. And we will also see what elements are there inside these builtins. Right. Now let's run this python example.py. You can see there are so many functions that is being loaded into Python. Here is the module. So builtins is a basic Python module which contains some of the basic functions that you would need to write your Python program. For example, this is what has the print. This is what has the round method, set data structure. You also have input, sorted. So some of these functions you use directly without even importing anything. Those are what is available in builtins. So what happens is every time you run a Python file, the Python interpreter takes this built-in module and imports it directly into your program. The globals of function will return all the global variables available in your program. So we have seen built-ins, so let's stop that and run this again. So here, okay, I haven't printed it. Right now we don't have much in the global instance, but you can see there is built-ins loaded into your global module. Python will load this built-ins into your program. Next, let's create two more variables, x equal to 10, y equal to 20, and let's run this program again. Now you can see this x and y has been added. So whenever you go and do something with x or y, what Python does is it goes to this global variable and checks whether x and y are available. Because if you do is it is not available, so it's gonna raise an error, right? But as far as x and y are concerned, it goes and looks in the namespace, that is a global namespace. It has that variable already defined, so it's going to return the value. Anytime it cannot find it, it's going to raise a name error. That is your global namespace. What about the variables that you define inside a function? Let's say you're defining x equal to 10, let's say it's equal to 15, and then you're printing x over here. What happens in that case? Is it going to take this x equal to 10 or x equal to 15? Let's check it out. Oh, we have to also call this function because that's how we will know. Here you can see that printing x plus y is actually printing 30, which is 10 plus 20. Whereas here, this printing x inside the main method is finally printing you the 15. Now what happens if I remove this? Can you see that it has skipped this 15 because we haven't defined it and it went to 10. So this is what you call as a local namespace. In local namespace, everything that's defined inside a block or inside a function is being taken into account. So when we talk about variable resolution, when Python mentions a variable, it is going to look in the nearest local namespace to see whether this value is available. If it's not available, it's going to look in the previous namespace. If it's not available there also, it's going to raise an error. For example, if we do comma isit over here, it is going to raise an error saying the name isit is not available. So that is your global and your local namespace. But Python doesn't stop there, right? You can also write nested functions in Python. So let's write an outer function and an inner function. What we are going to do in the outer function is going to be x equal to 20, and here x equal to be 30, and we are going to just work with x for now. So we have an x at the global namespace, we have the one at an outer function and at an inner function. Now let's print x at different levels. So this is at outer level and this is at inner level, right? Let's run this. Oh, we have to call this function again. Outer, and outer will call the inner. Cool. Now we have a global x and an outer x and an inner x. So in this case, any changes that you make to x in any block will not affect x in another block. Here we will get 40, here we will get again 40. Let's not do that. Here we will get 45. So any changes or any manipulation that you do to x at one level will not do any harm to the ones at the other levels. Global x, right? Let's print that. Actually, let's print it after this. Okay, now let's say you don't have an x here and you don't want to work with the outer x as well. You want to work with the global x. What can you do? There is a global keyword in Python and you can refer to that x. Oh, sorry, this is a naming convention. And you can refer to the global x directly. And with the global x, you can do a variety of things. Global x is already 10, so we will add another 23 to it, so it will become 33. So here inner is 33. Actually, it's not inner. We are referencing global. And we are manipulating it to turn into 33. So that is what is happening here. You can also refer to this particular outer function using something called as nonlocal. So let's say you have an x over here, but you don't want to use that. You want to use the x in the outer method. You can do that using nonlocal. So let me move this after calling the inner function. So first it's going to be 20. And then nonlocal x is going to add another 23. So this here it's going to be 43. And it's going to add another 20 over here. So it's going to be 63. So let's run this. Oh, sorry. So you have to do this. Let's not use this. Let's run this. Here you can see the inner has updated it to 43 and the outer has been updated to 63. And the global just remains untouched, unchanged as 10. To summarize, there are 3 scopes in Python, which is the local scope, which is inside a particular function or an if block or a for loop. Those are called local namespaces. Whereas if you're using nested functions, in that case, the nested function will have an enclosing namespace. And you have your global namespace and you have your builtins. So next time you look at a variable, just don't look at it as variables itself, but as much more things that Python does to make it available for you. Until your next Python video, see you soon and goodbye.